All right, and we are live. I want to
Okay.
introduce GM Bong Abenir. Thank you for joining us in this FMA discussion. How are you,
Hi
sir?
guys. I'm doing well. Very fine.
Yeah.
It's morning here in the Philippines,
Yeah,
so
right. You're 12 hours ahead, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's good evening to all.
So how's the weather? Like we're starting to get into dipping into the 30s. How's weather
Mm,
there for you guys? Temperature?
Here it's typical 38, 39 degrees. It's quite hot here.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay. Yeah. You
and
can't. Right.
it's
You guys
very
don't have much
humid.
of a winter, right? It doesn't really go down in temps in wintertime.
Probably on December.
Okay, only December. Where you guys go like probably like only like 10 degrees or something, right?
Oh,
Yeah, we're in like single digits, snow, the whole 9 yards. Ugh.
here in Manila, no.
Yeah,
Probably Uh, the lowest we could get is around what 20 degrees, something like that.
no, and that is now. Do you live in Manila or close by?
Yeah, I live in Manila.
Okay, okay, okay. All right, we're gonna jump into it. Just to let everybody know, my association with you is obviously I'm a student of yours. Even though I was brought through Marvin, I still consider you though my teacher indirectly because everything coming down. So I definitely want to make that. And just what originally attracted me to you guys when I was on Facebook, I was kind of in between systems. I wanted to get back being a student. I had sold my school, and I just loved what I saw you guys. You guys were like doing it. I didn't see drills. I wasn't
Yeah,
seeing clicking sticks. And I was so immersed. But then I couldn't find anybody. Then finally, long story short, got a hold of Marvin, and it's been
hmm
history ever since. And it's been an absolutely wonderful experience. I'm happy to say, and this is why I really wanted to get you on here to kind of spread you more and just what you guys are doing. I think
thank you
it's a
very much.
fantastic thing. You know. What I like to do is just get your, if you don't mind, can you just go? I mean, I know I have a general idea, like your journey, but I
Yes.
would like for the people that are going to watch this just to kind of get kind of a chronological order of things before GM Tony and
hmm
all that. So I kind of like to know, where did you start? Was it silat or where did you start?
Well, actually, I started with my father.
Oh,
My
your
father,
father.
yeah, my father was
Oh,
a
okay.
Kuntao practitioner.
Kuntao.
So yeah, Kuntao. So when I was young, he was teaching me these certain movements, which was looking back right now, it was similar to silat, especially the catching styles when it comes to leg catching and all those punches and kick combinations. So there are similarities. So I started with my father.
Wow. And then from there, like, was it formal training or was it kind of just?
No, it wasn't formal training because my father was working overseas. He was working in Saudi Arabia during the 80s. And every time he comes back for a vacation, every morning he will just ask me to join him for practice. And then afterwards, there was this man who was always there during the morning just watching us. And one day he approached me, being a young kid, and he said if I wanted to really learn something about fighting.
Are we getting into? And I don't want to do abomination on his name. Was this Young? Is
Yes,
that how you
yes,
pronounce it?
yeah, Mang.
Okay. Okay. Before I definitely want to get to him because he sounds like a fascinating character.
Yeah,
But
yes.
yeah, just by some of the stuff I've read and all that. But before I know he was observing your classes, but what was the content? Because Kuntao I found fascinating. Was this more the Kuntao from the Fujian province of China or more from Mindanao?
Uh, I think it is more from Mindanao.
So,
That's my interpretation of the movements that he had before.
so what was mostly the content? Was it mostly empty hand base he was giving you, or was it?
Yes, actually, it was empty hand base.
So your punches, your kicks,
Yeah.
was there like some clinch grappling stuff, whatever?
Yes, definitely. A lot of leg catching techniques.
Like catching. Okay, okay.
Yeah. So that was the bridge between my puntao and going to silat. I didn't have any problems when it came to transitioning because I already knew when I was a kid.
Oh, it was an easy transition.
Yes, it was a very easy transition for me.
Did he do any weapon work with you or more from a defensive side or?
No, actually, I haven't seen him wield any kind of weapon. It was just mostly empty hand.
Okay, yeah, because you hear, it's funny because like there's some food talent systems that seem to be more empty hand. Then I guess depending on, from now, then sometimes the barong comes into play.
Yeah.
Not that I'm a authority on that, but so then, okay, so this character, he's watching. He was, hey, you want to learn some knife stuff?
Yeah, definitely. Mang Inyong was just watching us every morning. And probably he got tired of seeing us doing things over and over again.
Was he a friend of your father's, or he was just an
Mhm.
observer?
He was just an observer. We didn't really know him during that time. He rented a room near our place, and he was staying there. So he was totally a stranger for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was a stranger.
So at what age were you when he like approached you?
I guess I was around between, if I could remember it right, around 9 years old or 10, something like that.
That's just so funny because I knew you were young, but like if that happened over here, it would be construed as like
I know.
like like he would be the cops would be called and
True.
he'd be picked up
It's quite
because
weird.
just
Yeah.
approaching a 9-year-old, hey, you want to learn some?
Yes, definitely. So it's a different culture back then.
Yeah, I think it's neat that like, but just compare, when you think about it though, as far as over here, it would be like, my God, what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah, that's true.
So he pulls you aside and like, what was it? Did he have a formal system or did he just kind of show you random stuff?
No, he didn't have any formal system. It was all what do you call this? Born out of experience. So all the
Just stuff
things.
that wow.
Yeah. So there was no system. There was no such thing as in-yung fighting system. It was just uh, purely from, I think, his experiences on the streets. So the first thing he showed me was, he removed his shirt and he let me count all the wounds that he had on his body.
So scars.
Yeah, all
That
those
basically,
scars. Yeah, with different sizes and different kinds of scars all over the body.
really,
Yeah, from the body, even on his face, he has this deep scar on his face.
my
And
gosh. And this was all from just during his life, just from all knife fights.
yes, that's true.
Was he an older gentleman or how old was
Oh,
he in relation to you?
definitely, definitely was around, I think, early 30s during that time.
During in his 30s.
Yes, yes.
So when he would show you random stuff, like did he give you like where to position it, where to hold it? Was it more just
He was always giving me situations. All
more
was situational.
situational? Okay.
Yeah. So there was nothing to memorize. There was nothing to what do you call this? Really remember when it comes to what do you call this? Like similar to a system. It was just random.
So
Everything was
like
random.
no count,
No,
no
nothing. No.
nothing, not even like
Yes.
grips or just
Yeah.
like more like, hey, if attack comes this way, this is how you kind of.
Yes. It was all random, so I have to pick it up uh, as fast as I could.
At nine
In
years
order
old.
for, yeah, 9 years old, for me to understand. It was all like a blur because he was moving so fast.
So what did you, I mean, I know you're young, but like reflecting back now that, you know, obviously your journey, you're incredible now. Like when you look back at that experience at 9 years old, like I know it's hard for you to like discriminate then, like whether he's good, bad, indifferent. But now looking back at you now, like did it have merit? Everything he kind of showed you randomly?
Yeah, looking back, what 30 years after, so everything had merit.
So it was actually like this wasn't he just wasn't like just giving you stuff that he made up. I mean, it was actually stuff that was definitely like
Yes,
could work and like functional and the whole
definitely.
bit.
The things that I've been using most of the time, when you see me do the knife stuff,
Yeah.
it was all from him. Most of them are from him.
Majority of it came from him. That's how much of
Yeah.
an influence he had.
Yes. Yes. That's true.
Ah, okay. So how long did the training continue with him? I know you started at 9. How long?
The last time we stopped training was when I was around 14 years old. Yeah, when
So
we
for
had
that
to
5
move.
years, you would see
Yeah.
him in the mornings and he would just,
Yes. Random. Just and then just give me some advice. For example, when you face 2 or 3 attackers, be sure not to face them directly. If you have to fade out, meaning because he had this story when he was attacked, it was raining very hard, and he came from what do you call this? I think similar to what you had before, some disco dancing with girls and. Yeah, he came there, and I think he was picking up girls during that time. And 3 men after the event or after the party followed him, and from there he was grabbed by two persons, and then suddenly he got quickly stabbed. And the stabbing didn't really hurt him that much, but what he was feeling was like he was blacking out already. So when finally he gave in, the floor was really wet because it was raining very hard.
yeah.
And then one of the guys who was holding him made sure that he was dead. So he grabbed him on the throat, and according to him, it was just like as if a whole minute that he was being grabbed so hard on the throat, and he had to play dead. He had to play dead.
Wow.
Yeah, for 1 minute, he had to play dead, something like that. So he said, if ever you face these kinds of encounters, make sure that you will really remember this when it comes to survival. So do everything.
So assuming you can't get away, you don't have equalizer, just
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
When
So
you
he
think
played.
about it, what else are you gonna do, right? I mean,
Yeah. And eventually, according to him, he killed all those guys one at a time. And that was his story. That was his story. So
And so 14. So and then at 14, you kind of relocated. He kind of
yeah,
disappeared, or
he even helped us when we transferred by cleaning the house that we were going to transfer in. He volunteered, and my mom, I think, paid him a little money for that. And afterwards, it was already gone. So never saw him after that.
oh, it's too bad. Because obviously you must have had a pretty good relationship with him. I mean, during that time.
I, I really cannot understand what kind of relationship we had. It was just like it was just teaching me, sharing with them, and then afterwards he will disappear, and then suddenly
Wow.
pop out.
That's when I just look at that, just the way you explain it, and I'm trying to put in context over here, it would be completely bizarre.
I know
That
it's
somebody
quite
would
weird.
just give you that, he would disappear, he'd come back, give you a couple more stories and moves.
Yeah. I guess we were able to get away with it because my father was out of the country,
Yeah.
so he was almost like I could not really say a father figure, but when it came to an affinity with looking for a father, then he would be a good candidate.
Wow. So then at 14, did you take a break in training or did you take another route or what'd you do?
What I did, I did this. It was quite stupid during that time. I wanted so much to continue my training, and he was already gone. And I found this Yaoyan school in Cubao. And my mother gave me money to pay for my tuition fee in school.
Okay.
What I did, the foolish thing that I did was instead of paying for the tuition fee for the school, I paid the tuition for the Yaoyan gym. And when my mother found out that all hell broke loose, and
Oh my God. So here she's giving you money thinking you're going to
yeah,
advance yourself, better yourself educationally speaking,
yeah.
and you're out there kicking legs.
Yes. I went home with all kinds of bruises, especially blue on my legs, black and blue on my legs, and my mother thought that I joined a fraternity or something. So he was really very, very mad. Yeah.
So did it stop there for a while or were you able to
No,
continue?
no, I continued. She can't do anything about it because it was really my, what do you call this? I really like doing it. So there's no one who could stop me during that time from training. So even
So
if
this
I had
is
to quit,
Yongyan, correct?
yeah, Yaoyan,
Okay, so
Yaoyan.
that was mostly predominantly low line kicking, lower everything, or
Um, at first glance, it is similar to Muay Thai. At
that's
first
right.
glance,
That's what I've read and seen.
yes.
Okay.
But if you actually delve deeper into the art, the kicks are different. How they maneuver, it's different. And there are more kicks. There are more kicks. During that time, they were using around 45 different kinds of kicks. But of course, not all of them are uh, being used in the tournament. So it came to be that it was like Muay Thai during that time.
Okay. And then, so how long did you stay, continue with that?
Oh, I, well, 7 years.
And then, what was your, so after that, did you just choose to go on to something else or?
Uh-huh. Well, during that time, our instructor, he was getting into Muay Thai. So from Yaoyan, he transitioned to Muay Thai. And then we were introduced to Muay Thai. But along the way, I was invited to join a competition, a silat competition.
Okay.
And yeah, it was my first time to join a silat competition. I do not have any solid background. And I was just using my old Yaoyan style during the competition. And it was a prestigious game that we have here in the Philippines. It's called the Philippine National Games, and I joined in as an athlete. And finally, when I was about to fight for the silver, I fought with he became an instructor with Francis Pisa, and I was thrown at least about 7 or 8 times. And after that, I went straight to the hospital because I thought I dislocated my clavicle or my shoulder because of
This
the
is going for
throw.
the silver?
Yeah, for the silver medal during that time.
That's fantastic. Going for the silver?
Yeah. And fortunately, I
Wow.
was fighting a national athlete, a national team member.
And here you are, you just jumped in, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
no shame in that. That's wow. So after that, did you kind of, when he transitioned to Muay Thai, is that when you kind of went towards the silat route?
Yes. First, it was sports silat, and then the head the head instructor or the head coach during that time, who was Muhammad Hadimulyo, when I asked him to teach me, suddenly he just told me, don't join my class. I will teach you a different kind of silat. And I thought it was just like isolation training me privately. But yes, he did taught me privately, but he taught me what was really silat all about. So it was not for sport. So the
So he
first,
was basically giving you quote unquote the real stuff.
yeah. So that first session, I was even afraid because he was holding a knife. And he said, Bong, we will start our training right now. And he was holding a knife. So I was a little bit shocked because I thought we were going to play silat, a sport. And suddenly here he was in front of me. He was holding this knife. And
Yeah,
it
I would have
started
told him I had a
there.
phone call to get or something.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. So it was quite, you know, weird during the time again. It happened to me again.
What a
So
character. So you got the early guy at 9 years old. Then you got this guy.
yeah. So I think the blades are really running after me.
My gosh. And so how long did your training continue with him?
I started with him from 1996 or 97 until 2000. Yeah. So it was around
Oh, all right.
4 years,
So
4 or 5 years.
okay. Okay. And then but you, from what I understand, you went with somebody else because you continued silat, correct?
Yeah, with his top disciple, Bong Mariano during that time. So he gave me instruction because I was being taught by his master. So what he did was he also jumped in and
Okay.
then trained me in. It was like more of a sport application. So
So you
we
got the real stuff in the beginning and then kind
yeah
of transitioned to sport.
yes to sport application.
So what was, when looking back, what did you prefer and why?
Um, well, I could not say I prefer the sport over uh, the the stuff that Hadimoli was teaching me, but the sport was a perfect bridge for me to really work on the other techniques that I could not work with in the context of a self-defense application.
So you got a chance to experiment and kind
Yes,
of,
yeah.
oh, okay, okay. No, that makes sense. Okay. And so basically though, even though it was a different structure, if I'm correct, kind of in the same sanction, same,
Yeah, it's there are similarities because during that time when we were practicing silat, it was not the silat yet that you are watching right now. So it's quite different. The silat before we had elbows, we had knees, we have a lot of throwing techniques, kicking, and then there's also some form of grappling.
okay. And did you get into the weapons? I know the guy was holding a knife, but
Yeah, yeah. So Hadimulyo taught me his dagger system. So I cannot say if it was really his dagger system or he learned it from another master or something like that.
so, okay, so it was more was it more just a knife then?
Yeah.
Okay, so nothing else then, not like the Chris sword or anything like that.
No, no, no.
No, just knife. Okay.
Yeah, that's knives.
So, all right. So then, how long then did you continue to do the sport aspect of it?
Uh, I think the last time that I competed in Silat was around 2005, I think.
Oh, so you
2005, 2000.
competed. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
And that
competed
was
from.
at the Philippines team, or just was it?
I was given a chance to join the Philippine team because I won the bronze medal, but I declined during that time because I had to finish my studies. So I
Oh,
prioritized my
okay. Okay.
studies.
Mom must
Just
have
to,
been.
yeah, to appease my mom because
Yeah.
she was already getting worried that I was not anymore paying particular attention to my studies. So I
Well,
had to balance everything.
mom knows best, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So then, is that kind of when the sea lot journey kind of stopped or took a break?
Yeah, I took a break when actually I was already learning Illustrisimo during that time.
Oh, because that's what I want to get to next.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So who did, I guess, to put this correctly, as far as timeline, who did you meet first, Tatang or GM Tony?
Tatang.
So
I
how
have
did,
no
okay, this, I can't wait for this part. So how did you meet him? Like, how did,
through Pedro Reyes. Pedro Reyes.
Pedro Reyes?
Yeah.
Okay.
He saw me doing knife stuff.
So Mr. Reyes saw you doing knife stuff.
Yeah, I was in Luneta.
Then you started training with him?
No, not yet. I was teaching somebody.
Oh, he was looking on.
Yeah, he was looking on.
Okay.
And then he called me, and then I said, I noticed that you are doing knife fighting. So, and then he asked me what the style, and I said I didn't know what style really I was doing. So, and then I just showed him some stuff, and then he said, "Oh, that's very good. Maybe I could introduce you to my master, Tatang Illustrisimo, because he's also very good in when it comes to blade stuff." So during the time, I was not even interested during that time because I said, "Oh, I already know how to use the blade." So yeah.
Oh,
so,
no.
Yeah. I almost lost my chance. I almost lost my chance.
Oh, my. So, all right. So, did you train with Pedro a little before he brought you to town, or no?
No, actually, I didn't learn anything from Pedro Reyes. He just showed me some stuff, and then he was just explaining to me the principles. He even warned me that when you start to train with the old man, make sure that you remember. He gave me a yellow. Too bad I already lost that yellow paper, wherein he wrote all the philosophies, the principles that is found in Illustrisimo, and then should you ever encounter these movements or what Tatang is doing, refer to this. And during the time, I was not even really interested because I already had a background. So I just played along. And then my friend Jong.
John over Rivera?
Yeah, Jong Rivero. And then said, "Oh, let's try. Tatang is very good." Actually, he was the first.
Sorry, just one thing. Did you ever hear of Illustrisimo prior to this?
No, I don't have any idea.
Or any idea who he was
Zero.
or anything? Okay.
No, zero actually. So I have no idea. Jong had an idea, because he was already learning from Tatang. And
directly?
Yeah, directly from Tatang. Yes, directly from Tatang.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, Jong was actually learning from Tatang probably a year before I met Tatang.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah. And this, what year is this? Like about?
Early 94. Early 94.
So, 94.
Yeah, early or late 94. It was midway.
Okay, so eventually you agree, and does GM Reyes take you to Tatang?
Yeah, in Luneta.
In the park?
Yeah, in the park.
Okay.
So
on a Sunday?
On a Sunday, and I was no, not on a Sunday. It was Saturday. It was Saturday because I was training in the silat gym every Saturday. So and then I decided to go there with Jong. When I saw Tatang, I almost lost my interest. Just see him walking from afar, and I was like, "Oh no, what's this?" He's an old man. He was an old man during that time. I even told Jong, just considered, what have you brought me into right now? So,
oh my God, you're seeing this elderly man like walk across, you're like,
yeah.
And then
he was in front of us, and I noticed that the stick was different. Our sticks were a little bit thinner, and his was really quite big one. It was around 2 inches in diameter. Ours were just half an inch. So I think, yeah, he was using a real stick, a fighting stick, when he came to us. Yeah, and then Tatang, when he saw me, he just immediately said, "Okay, strike." And I was I was very hesitant because it was so. I first I did it very slow, and he almost got very angry because you strike fast, and then from then I strike fast, and he did this um, sombrada, yeah, sombrada, and then from then on, when I saw him move, I was already hooked from day one.
So so he came up to you like it sounds like he does everybody else and just says, "Hey, feed me."
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Just feed me if something
Just feed
random.
me. Yeah.
And he of course is going to not only defend it, but probably find a gap in you and
Yeah, the gap he found in me was before he even made the move, he already struck me on. He motioned by striking me on the head, and then wait, yeah, it was like striking me in the head, and then the sombrada came in. So there was this. That was fraction. That was fraction. So when I refer to the yellow paper, that was fraction. So.
And he had to be at that time
90
and 91, right?
Something like that. It was already very old. That's why I told you I almost lost interest.
Incredible. Just at that age. I can't even fathom, but yeah. So you're obviously after that when you go to do some brada, he beat you to the line.
Yeah.
What what was I gonna say there? You were hooked then. So did you make a point to see him regularly?
Yes. Saturdays, sometimes Sundays, but mostly Saturdays. We were there because of my training in silat.
Okay.
I was simultaneously training with silat and Tatang.
So were you seeing him just once a week at the time?
Once a week, sometimes twice. Sometimes John would invite me on Monday or Wednesday, but it was usually during that time on weekdays, Tatang was just not really interested in teaching. He would just invite us for coffee, and yeah, the old man liked to eat this rice pudding, and we were just buying for him during that time. So I quit doing it on weekdays because we were really doing nothing. So it was mostly Saturdays and Sundays.
So how long would the training sessions go with him?
We lost track of time. Sometimes it would be 3 to 4 hours of just doing things.
My God, just incredible. And then, so how was it? I mean, like, was he approachable, friendly? Was he?
Yeah, Tatang was very approachable. He was very friendly. He was laughing all the time.
While he's hitting
laughing
you?
all the time. Yeah. While he's doing those stuff again, from the training that we did, he would just usually laugh, looking at our faces every time he hits, and then throws our stick away from afar, and we will have to run from it and pick it up again, and then strike again, and then he'll just throw it again.
So did you do mostly sword work with him or knife as well?
It was mostly with the bolo. I didn't learn knife stuff directly from Tatang.
Until you got to GM Tony.
Yes. Only with GM.
So did you stay with Tatang till he passed?
I could not say I stayed with Tatang till he passed because we were not that close. I have to make this clear. It was just the relationship were just very, very normal student-teacher relationship, but not close. So when I found out that he died, I didn't really make a point to visit the wake. So that's why with GM Tony is different. I was there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was.
yeah. No, I know you guys were, yeah. So did you, during your time with Tatang, is that when you met GM Tony or was it after his death?
After his death.
Okay, so
Yeah,
during those times, so basically with Tatang, it was just Saturdays,
yeah,
mostly Barong and still I can't, the experience must have been incredible with him. I mean, it
yeah.
just
It was really incredible. Because looking back at what Tatang was doing right now that is the way I would like. I prefer to teach the way Tatang was doing it. That is the way I prefer to teach right now. Before I was
so,
using a curriculum. Now,
right.
yeah, I
Just
went back.
like random and
Yeah,
reaction. You just
yes,
react. Right.
yes,
Yeah, I'm an argument here. I like that for myself, to be honest, where you
yeah,
don't have to think about numbers or, you know,
yes.
kind of like the less is more.
Yeah, yeah, true, true. That's true.
So then he passes, and then how'd you meet GM Tony?
Again, with the help of Pedro Reyes. Yeah,
Okay, okay,
again with his help. So a few months after Tatang died around August. So a few months after that, I think it was March. Yeah, we went to Binondo, and there, Pedro introduced me to Grandmaster Tony.
and that was a relationship that carried on until his death, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, obviously you guys were close. Wow. So, what was your first? When you went to go see him, what was your experience like? What'd you feel? How'd you
Oh,
feel?
from day one, he already explained to me what I experienced from Tatang.
Yeah.
So every time I would question, for example, uh, Mang Tony, we call him Mang Tony. Mang Tony,
Okay.
how do you really apply this movement? Because with Tatang, I could not really dissect it because he was just moving randomly. So GM Tony would patiently explain it to me on how Tatang would insert it first before going to the technique. So because there
Right,
was a
because he
lot
didn't
of
have a
inserts.
system. I mean,
Yeah.
Mon
Yes.
Tony is one who actually put a system into effect, right?
Yeah. Mm. It was Mang Tony, and with the help of
GM Ricketts?
no no
No.
Yuri Romo. Yeah. GM
Who's?
Yuri. GM Yuri.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Because they
That's right.
were the ones who really dissected every movement Tatang was doing.
Right, because they're the ones
So
that was house first way back and all
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no, okay, yeah, no, right, right, that makes sense. Okay,
yeah,
so then he would actually give detailed explanation,
yes,
not only because not just the what, but where, when, and why to insert that move and all
yes,
that.
yeah.
Okay,
So all the situations from each movement, he will immediately tell me when and why and how to use
okay,
it.
okay.
So from
Wow.
him, I understood the principles and the philosophies of Tatang's Belief because of Mang Tony. Without him, I will be uh, at loss.
Yeah, huh? That must have been tough when he passed. Mm.
Yeah.
So I know you did staff with him, Dos Manos, I mean, everything with him. Did you like the knife work?
Yeah, I like the knife work of Illustrisimo. Because everything was interpreted from the bowler to the knife. It was just the same with just a little bit of modification when it comes
Yeah.
to yeah. So the reason why I like it is because you could easily transfer from the bowler to the knife.
Mm. Just a concept. It's one thing I try to, when people ask me, well, why are you doing illustration? Why are you doing all that? And what I try to explain is that just there's stuff I've seen in there that I haven't seen in other systems, like Frale,
Yeah,
Media Frale, the whole concept of una pogada. Like there's just
yeah, yeah,
concepts and techniques I haven't seen other systems. You know what I mean? I got to attribute to, I guess, the Spanish influence, but I just think it's different. You know? Yeah.
Definitely. I have seen a lot of not to what do you call this, to discriminate other systems, but Tatang was really different. The movements of Tatang was really different.
That's
You will not be
no.
able to see any system that is as close to what Tatang was doing. Yeah.
I don't.
Honestly.
No, no, I mean, I don't. You know, some of the footwork variations, some of the
Yeah.
movements. I mean, you know, no. I mean, just I could watch them, 24 hours a day, and just still try to pick up on nuances. Of, like,
That's true. Yeah,
you know what
that's
I
true.
mean? Just it's just incredible. And at the age he's doing it, I mean, it's mind blowing. You know?
I think that's the reason why he was unbeatable. During
Yeah.
that time, no one was able to beat him.
Nah, I could. Yeah, yeah. Or wanted to even.
Yeah.
So
So
then, getting back to GM Tony, I mean, obviously you had a wonderful experience with him and longtime student teacher relationship and everything like that. I guess I know during the time you were with him, you decided, right, but I guess what made you want to create your own system per se?
okay, okay. The reason behind that is, well, I had many influences, and I could not throw away all the influences that I had for so many years. For example, with Mang, I could not really throw it because they were all very, until now, they are still very useful.
Yeah,
So I'm still using it. Uh, Even in silat, some of the movements there, I still use it when it comes to hand to hand. So that's the reason I had to create a system, because it will prevent me from creating so much confusion. Because if I claim to be teaching Illustrisimo, then that means I will have to drop everything and then just teach Illustrisimo, which I could do. And I have students who really would just like to learn Illustrisimo style, and I teach them, but I do not do it publicly. So it was just private.
no, I can definitely understand that because otherwise you got to separate everything. So if you create your own system, you can give credit to their, and all to the teachings they
Yeah.
gave you and their experiences with them and all that. So no, I could definitely appreciate that. Was that pretty much so you can kind of collectively put them all in one system at the same time, pay respect to them and
Yeah,
everything?
definitely.
Okay.
I had to give respect to everyone. So all
No,
the
I think,
masters.
well, that's nothing wrong with that. I think we need more of that, no. Um, what year, I mean, before you created it, is this something that kind of, it was always in the back of your mind that you wanted to do? Or was there like something that just like an
It
experience
just
that made you?
it just happened. So we were not really planning to create our own system. We were just training and training and training.
Mhm.
So until one time, I forgot when was this. Somebody was asking me, that is not from Illustrisimo. That what you're doing is not from Illustrisimo. So
Oh, so you had to
that's it.
explain.
Yeah, I had to keep on explaining until I got tired of explaining.
Oh, okay. So now if you do your own system, you don't have to
Yeah,
explain.
that's true. That's true.
Right.
So I do not want to create confusion.
Okay.
So
No. Okay. So what year? 2001?
yeah, 2001.
So
2000.
before you actually became official and all that, did you approach Mang Tony?
Yeah. Well, nobody knows this, but we were having this conversation in Luneta. Um, uh, I asked permission from GM Tony that we were creating our own system, and I was surprised by his answer. He said, "Bong, there is no problem with you creating your own system. Uh, you are still Illustrisimo. If if you use the techniques of Tatang and we see the techniques in Tatang in you, there's no problem. Just as long as you acknowledge that's from Tatang. And even if you are now using AK or Abenir Kali during that time, it was still Kali. He said, we're, we will still consider you as brothers. So from then on, that was already a go signal that
Oh, so he was encouraging
yeah, he
and,
was actually encouraging me
oh, okay. Well,
because he was very happy because we were really sparring, and he knew it. He was so happy that we were really doing it.
oh,
So
you guys were doing it as
yeah,
opposed to, yeah.
yes. That's why he was very happy with us, and he encouraged me so much to keep on doing it. Mind you, GM Tony is a little bit strict when it comes to mixing styles, but I guess he just gave me leeway or something like that. He allowed me. He allowed me.
Yeah. So when you, so this was 2001, you go on your own thing, but you didn't, of course, you didn't stop training with him. I mean, you continued
Yeah, I continued training with him. So we
until,
were well, until the time of his passing. So
and right after his
during
passing, when he
that
got,
year, yeah, we would
until
go
he was
there from
getting
time
really,
to time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that must have been tough because you were with them, was it over 15 years, right? I mean,
Yeah, something like that.
yeah. Man.
Seeing him when he was very strong, he had this long hair and it was he tied it up. Then 2010, 11, he was already walking differently. We were.
Uh,
It was painful for us to see him every time we met that he was already limping. But when it came to teaching, suddenly he will transform, and then he will be moving very quick, as fast as he was moving before. And then when he already got tired, he would just take a break and say,
he could take a break and sit,
"Yeah,
and
my knee is already hurting, so I have to stop."
that must have been tough, though. I mean, here's this guy that you have such endearment and respect for, and you unfortunately seen decline. Wow.
Yeah, that's the painful part.
That could not have been easy. No, somebody obviously that you really deeply care about and everything, Wow.
That's true.
Yeah. So now, just before we wrap up here, so did you besides obviously the physical content he gave you and all that, some of the vids I see, you guys are talking all that. It sounds like you guys had a really connection, kind of a close bond. Just by the videos and seeing you guys
Yeah.
exchanging and all that, you can kind of just see
Yes.
that,
Mhm. That's true.
Yeah. Yes.
At first, because I had a lot of videos with Mang, and when we discovered YouTube, I was probably one of the first who put up our YouTube
Oh, I
video.
enjoyed it. I mean, I think as everybody else did. I
Yeah,
loved watching. Yeah. Oh my
and
gosh. Just
yes, and even during that time, a lot of people got angry at me because I thought I didn't ask any permission from Mang. Actually, Actually, it was Mang Tony. He said every time we were practicing, "Oh, this is for YouTube. This is for YouTube." He was always uttering this, which is already a signal for us that we could upload it if we wanted to. Bong, if you want to upload this on YouTube, okay, you can show this. So with that, we were probably the first one to upload, and some of the other guys were really angry at us during that time. So that's the reason why I took out all the videos. I
okay.
put them down. So maybe that's it. So
Yeah.
I
Some
kept
I
it for
know.
myself.
Some people, but I think
And
it's
now
great
they're
that
putting
people
it
get
up.
to see that.
Yeah,
It's a piece of history. You
yes,
know.
that's true.
Yeah. So. Well, I want to, just wrap this up. I want to just tell everybody where they can see everybody and what you're about and of course, all the reps throughout the world. And that's AbenirKhallisBlogspot.com. Also, Maestro has also produced two videos here. One is on knife, and the other here is on knife fighting, and the other one is on bolo. Both of them, I highly recommend them for anybody, whether you're interested in joining Abenir Khalis or not. They're wonderful. They're well put together, very informative. nice addition to your, your collection, and you're improving your knowledge as far as I'm concerned. But this has been an absolute pleasure. I thank you so much for agreeing to do this. I think people are going to really enjoy seeing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I take the recording, and then if everything goes smooth again, get it up there on Facebook or that. Do you care if it goes on YouTube, Facebook? Do you have any, obviously I want to ask you first, if you have any qualms about that?
No.
Going on? No? Okay.
No. It's perfectly fine.
Okay. And it's too bad.
Thank you.
If you guys had a phone to get Con Norman, please tell Con Norman thank you for, the help in coordinating this and everything.
Oh, Con Norman, I'll
Okay.
let him jump in for a while. Okay. Thank you.
Hello, Cuddy. How are you?
Good. How are you? I just want to, thank you for all the help in coordinating this and everything. I just think people are going to really enjoy finally, seeing him and hearing our talk and all that. And I just, wanted to give you thanks for, helping out and all that, coordinating this and talking to Maestro for me.
Sure. My pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Till next time. Bye-bye.
Okay.